So let's have a look, and we'll discuss the preview for Manchester United versus Chelsea on Wednesday. Chaps, how are you feeling going into this game? Manchester United, they were, before the weekend, the form team. In the last 5 league games before then, they'd won 4, drawn 1. They're the form team on paper. They leave things particularly very, very late. But on the back of this performance against Brighton, we'll have returns from Reece James will be back in the lineup as well. We'll also see the return of Marc Cucurella. We'll have, fullbacks in that sense. How are you feeling about the game on Wednesday, Charlie? Are you feeling that it could be possible to steal some points there at Old Trafford? We notoriously have not done well there in recent seasons, have we?
Yeah, I mean, we need to. There's no doubt we need to steal some points there. It's an interesting match because I think both teams are going into that one. We're almost very similar teams in the sense that we're underachieving, but we're in a sort of transition, and we're in this similar situation. We've got a load of players that have cost a load of money and all this sort of stuff. It's kind of similar. It's a big match in the sense that if we can, and I've said this before, we need to start chalking points on the board. We can't keep, having these sort of debates every week like we do, going, oh, was that a good performance? Was that a bad performance? There's no more excuses in my opinion. He's had a bedding in period. We don't have a massive injury crisis compared to other teams. Okay, you can look at that and argue a little bit, but in terms of big players that are out, we've got a pretty well full strength side. So I think it's there for the taking. I think it's important that we go there and at least get a draw. It has to be about points now. None of this, we had a good performance, but we lost 1-0 on a dodgy VAR decision. It has to be points, minimum draw to at least take points off Man United at the same time. But ideally a win, and let's actually start climbing that table like we know we should.
I mean, I'm scrolling down here and looking at the last time we actually managed to beat Manchester United. It was in the FA Cup in 2018 at home. But if we keep scrolling and I go through, it's been a while since we've beaten them at Old Trafford. We're looking
2013, I think. Matt or one Matt
2013. Is it? Where?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
So it's been over 10 years since Chelsea have won at Old Trafford. That's they are like Spurs to us in the 90s. This is literally just, we are Spurs to them, sorry. Like, we're just absolutely... Surely now's an opportunity for Chelsea, Timber, to take advantage of that. I don't think Manchester United are playing particularly well, if I'm honest. You look at players, I look at some of the highlights for Manchester United. Marcus Rashford is a player that doesn't look like he wants to even be on a football pitch. Martial, again, doesn't look like he wants to be on a football pitch. I'm worried because we've won a game and we've performed so well against City. And on the back of that, I thought, okay, well, we're going to go play Newcastle and we can probably get something there. And then we got a pants ball down. September, have I just got recency bias, or is there an opportunity for Chelsea to actually, look to break that year streak?
It's again a difficult question because I think we have every right to feel confident, and I think Man United have every right to feel confident too because both teams are just in yo-yo form. I think we can lose one, win one. They can lose one and win one. I think it's a very interesting matchup because, like I say, both teams are full of errors. Neither manager has their best team at the moment. Doesn't know the best selection. Can't get consistency out of the team. So. You can have that. But I think we're a turning point. I think we'll edge it. But Man United are at home. I think that's the big key for them. We're the away team. We haven't won in so many years. However, we do play well when teams come up against us. When they push up forward, I think Man United do kind of press forward at times. They don't sit back all the time. They like to adventure forward. Can we exploit that? I hope so, especially with their keeper's form at the moment. I would like to see us test him quite a lot, which we have been scoring quite a few goals lately. So I'm confident that we potentially could score some goals. However, I do think they're very potent for scoring goals as well. as we know, they've got good players from set piece. I'm not sure if Casemiro's back.
No, he's
I
still
don't think
injured till
he's out.
January.
Okay. Obviously Maguire's going to be a huge set play for them. Yeah, so I think if we keep them quiet at set pieces and maybe limit those Fernandez long shots, Rashford long shots, we should be okay. However,
Yeah.
like I say, they do have a lot of individual talent, which I always say individual talent can win you games. They may not be a better team than us. I think we're probably a better team than them, but they have the individual brilliance that will save you from games, and that will be I think the key turning point of who can really just have that moment to settle the game, I suppose.
Yeah. Charlie, when you look at the squads available for Chelsea and United, where do you think the game's going to be won? If it's Chelsea going to win this game, where do you think it's going to be won? Do you think it's in the middle? Or do you think it's down the wings? Because initially when Tem was talking, I was thinking, okay, what's the next question that I could ask in this scenario? Mikhailo Mudryk had a good game against Brighton. I think Mikhailo Mudryk against someone like Dalot would be decent. He'd get a lot of opportunity to run in behind Harry Maguire. But if he's doing Wan-Bissaka, for me, Wan-Bissaka is probably one of the best one-on-one defenders. But then you have Luke Shaw back as well, and Raheem Sterling's going to be quite quiet as well. So where can the game be won for you, in your opinion? Is it going to be purely just set pieces?
Yeah, I think it will be that sort of game. I think it's going to be very much a bit of a scrappy game, not too good for the neutral. Probably some long distance shots from somewhere, and like Tem says, I think a lot of it will probably be down to individual brilliance, whether that's from us or from them. I don't think it's going to be a match that's going to be the game that I went to last season, if you remember, where we lost 4-0.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I hope not,
I
but
don't know
I
why you
don't
did
think.
that.
Well,
I still don't know why you did that.
no one knows why I did that, but I'm a mysterious man. But no, the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think we're in that bad a position as we were last season that we will capitulate in that way. It can happen, obviously. This is football.
Yeah.
This is why we watch it. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I personally think is that the midfield and long range shots, penalties, free kicks, corners, a lot of that's where the real threat's going to be. I think down the wing, we're fairly evenly matched with Man United, to be fair. I think that's their main element of threat, to be honest, and that's our main element of threat. And certainly neither of us have got too much threat in the middle, as in strikers and stuff like that. So I think it is literally going to be up to sort of good organisation and that sort of thing, and individual mistakes.
Tam, do you think it's going to be individual brilliance, individual mistakes, set pieces? Where do you think the game's going to be won and lost?
Yeah, I think Charlie's just banged it on right there. I think personally, individual brilliance. I don't think either team is fantastic at anything, to be honest. I think both teams are very poor at all of the above. I think where they can beat us, I think, is aerially. I do think Maguire will win a lot of headers, a lot of duels, and he's. I would like to see the matchup against him and Jackson, or him and Sterling, if Sterling gets into central positions, or even potentially Cole Palmer, because I do think that someone like Jackson won't be able to handle someone like Maguire. So,
No,
like I
I don't
say,
either.
it will be interesting because as well, with Gallagher being suspended, what do our wingers look like? Do we go with Mudryk and Sterling again? Does Palmer play out wide and maybe Ugochukwu come in midfield? So I think we'll talk about our predicted 11s anyway.
I mean,
However,
however.
However, like I say, our front three or four will have to be quite on it, because I do think, however bad their keeper is, their defense isn't too bad. I just think that
the
Maguire
defense.
sometimes has a brain fart. Wan-Bissaka, like you say, is brilliant 1v1. I don't see anyone giving him a horrid time. I hope Sterling can turn up if he plays on the left. If it's Mudryk, I don't think Wan-Bissaka is going to have a tough afternoon, tough evening even. So yeah, like I say, it'll be interesting matchup, but I do think it will be a case of individual brilliance rises above.
Well, we talk about individual brilliance and not how good as a team. So Del Key poses a good question here for us: is what's your best 11 between both teams? Let's just go on the example. We're going to play 4-2-3-1, just for ease. So in goal, are you going Sanchez or Onana?
Charlie,
Charlie,
right, that one.
you nodded on a
Sorry.
podcast there. You need to talk. You need to say Sanchez or Onana.
Sorry, I thought we were going to do an 11 versus. Okay, that's quite a good. Yeah, it's Sanchez, definitely.
Yeah, I'll go with Sanchez as well.
Sanchez again for me. Okay, let's go left back. Luke Shaw, or it's probably going to be Mark Cucurella.
Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw, 100%. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Okay, centre backs. It's probably going to be Disasi or Lindelof.
If we're talking about fit players, probably Silva.
I said Disasi or Lindelof. It's not an option, Temba. You're making it up. Sammy saying, "What do you prefer, bacon or eggs?" And you're going, "I like beans."
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll go with Badiashile and Lindelof.
What?
Yeah.
What is your top? No, I gave you an option. I said Disasi or Lindelof.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Lindelof.
Lindelof. Okay. Silva or Maguire?
Silva,
easy.
Yeah, Silva. Right backs, James, or it's probably going to be Wan-Bissaka.
James.
How
are you going? You can't.
James.
He paused there.
James. It's James. I got to try and remember the Man United team now. This is going to be the right thing. Eriksen's out, so it's going to be Casemiro's out as well. So let's say
Amrabat.
Amrabat or Caicedo.
Oh, well, both have been terrible this season, but I'll go with Caicedo.
Yeah, Caicedo, just about.
Yeah, Caicedo for me as well. And we go with Enzo or Scott McTominay.
No.
Enzo.
Again, I'd say Enzo, but I actually think McTominay is actually quite underrated in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So then we look to the wingers position side. So we'll move on to the left. So Sterling usually plays on the left. Say Sterling or Rashford, which is an interesting when you pose it from an England perspective as well. So Sterling or Rashford.
On this season's form, Sterling, I'm afraid.
Garnacho. I'll put Garnacho ahead of both of them.
So there's a right side for a reason, you piece of shit. That's what I was going to go next.
Okay, all right. Well, Sterling it is then.
You're making it up. Damn, Sterling. I'm giving you options. Yeah, Sterling for me as well. I think Rashford has been off the ball this season. Wasn't impressed with him at the weekend. Okay, Garnacho, or likely going to be Mudryk.
Garnacho.
I would go Garnacho, easy.
Yeah, I'd say Garnacho as well. We agree on too many things when it comes to this side of things. And the number 10 position is probably going to be Cole Palmer. And who's probably going to play in that area for United? Bruno. Bruno. Bruno or Cole Palmer?
This season, I'd have to go Cole Palmer.
Yeah, me too. Cool. Just on the effect on the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes. You're both wrong on that scenario. And then Højlund and Nicholas Jackson.
I know this won't go down popular, but I'm going to go with Højlund.
Yeah, and I probably agree. And do you know what? It's funny, isn't it? Because it just shows this debate how us two teams are just so off form and so random, and there's no these answers that we're giving. It's not obvious, is it? It's kind of on form and on reputation. There's so many kind of variations to these sort of teams,
Yeah, and when it comes to, I mean, for me, I'm going to go Jackson because I don't think he's a better player, but he scores goals this season, so I'm purely just go based on that. I haven't seen enough of Højlund, if I'm completely honest, to kind of have a formulate a proper opinion on him. But it's interesting. That's the only areas that we, us three as a group, disagree on is the number 10 and the striker. Let's move what we think is going to happen at the weekend. I think a key thing is going to cause a bit of a headache for Pochettino is the centre backs. They all perform particularly well. The problem is that there's only 2 positions as opposed to 4 coming up this weekend. Do you both see Reece James I'm fairly certain Reece James is probably going to come back in. But let's say, for argument's sake, do you think Cucurella is going to come in and take over from Colwell in that left back position? Throwing that
Um,
to anybody.
I do see Cucurella starting. I do think that the two centre backs will miss out on Wednesday. I think Cucurella and James will come back into the team, and it will most likely, in my opinion, be probably Silva and another, and I think it will be Disasi, just because Badiashile is just coming back from injury.
Okay.
However, I would like to see Badiashile start myself. I would like to see maybe him and Disasi, because I think this will be a game of where Man United will try catch us out on the counter. So we'll need that pace, recovery pace, and I just think a 40-year-old Thiago Silva obviously is still very smart, probably way smarter than any defender on the pitch. You know, there is some sort of physical attribute that goes with it as well. And I think 2 games in a week, will he be on it as if he was 1 game a week? I'm not quite sure. And Old Trafford's quite a big pitch as well, so they'll have space to run into. So, like I say, I think it would be wise to probably start your more physical players against a very fast attacking Man United team.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to be Silva and Badiashile, if I'm honest, because I think Badiashile had a very solid game for Chelsea at the weekend. Charlie, you know, which centre back pairing do you think we're going to see? Do you think you agree with Temba? I mean, I do agree with you, Temba. I think Silva probably should be rested for this game. I think he's probably more needed for Everton on Sunday, if I'm completely honest. But Charlie, where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but I think Silva's going to have to play, and it's been a problem this season that we haven't chalked enough points on the board to actually. And I do think this season when Pochettino walked in, there was a plan for Silva. It was probably dictated to him that this was going to be probably his last season at Chelsea, and it was going to be a bit of a wind down, and there was going to be a plan of action. But I think there's just been so much, and we've been through it before, so much rubbish going on in the background, and lack of points ultimately. So we need him to play, and these are big match. Every match is a big match, you know, and this is the biggest problem. Every match seems to be a big match.
So who do you think is going to pair with him?
Probably Disasi.
Nick Disasi. None of us said Colwell. Do you not think that's a bit weird? Or we didn't go for Colwell straight in that scenario?
I don't think he's quite earned it yet. I think he's been quite poor this season. Well, obviously he's only 19 years old, but he's still got a long way to go, I think, to establish himself in that centre back starting 11.
Yeah, we'll I think he's been. I think he's been at fault for quite a lot of goals when you actually think about it. There's a. I couldn't name off the top of my head, but I could name the amount of times we've spoken about it where he's been at fault for goals. I know he's been slightly out of position. Obviously Silva's been at fault for goals, but he's earned that in previous and leadership qualities and things like that. But I don't think Disasi has been at fault for that many goals. To be honest, I think overall he's been okay, you know.
Yeah. Dale saying don't rule out Rasmus. He's due a goal in the Premier League. Yeah, he's not scored in the Premier League, so naturally Charity FC is more likely going to give it to him. Let's face it, we tend to help people out in that respect, don't we? I think we can all agree it's probably going to be Caicedo and Enzo.
Yeah. I think that will probably be the two, and it'll be interesting to see if we go with a 3 again in midfield, whether it'll be Ugochukwu or maybe we play a 10 and 2 wingers, or a pure 10 like Cole Palmer.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think Cole Palmer will play in the 10. If he's got a knock, I think it's given the opportunity to go back to fitness. I think he'll play as a 10. Sterling as well, and probably Mudryk. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah. I think Mudryk starts, and I think Jackson starts. Although I would probably like to see Breuer get some minutes at some point.
I'd like to see him get some more minutes. I want to see. I want Breuer to come on a bit earlier in some of these games, because I think Jackson kind of loses it a little bit. He kind of fizzles out a little bit in the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's just sometimes his lack of awareness, where he doesn't pass the ball straight away, and he wants to kind of over dribble with the ball. I think we see, obviously we see that with Sterling a lot, but he's a lot better at dribbling than Jackson is, and maybe it's part of the fact that he used to be a winger, of course, so he thinks he still has that ability, and that's what he maybe he was brilliant at Villarreal before, so. Yeah, like I say, I'd like to see Broja given more of a chance. I like his tenacity. I think he's got something different about him. He's got a turn of pace. He's quite strong, big guy as well.
I
Decent
think,
aerial.
it's like you said, he's better at holding the ball up than Jackson is, which allows players like Sterling and Mudryk to come into play. So, be interesting. It'd be good to see Broja. Yes or no question for you both. So just yes or no, no answer to this. Will we see Nkunku on the bench on Wednesday? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Weekend, I think.
You think come Everton away? I think that'll be the time to it. Be interesting. Temper and I are gonna try and go to Everton away, see if we can get some tickets there. So hopefully we can do that. Might do another little video for you all. Let's go score predictions for this one. We'll go score predictions for Man United on Wednesday. It's very difficult to do a prediction based on we don't know what the team's going to be for Everton, but go on, why not? We may as well. What do you reckon the result's going to be, Charlie, on Wednesday against Manchester United at Old Trafford?
I think 1-1 draw.
The classic Timber.
I'll agree with Charlie. We'll go with the 1-1 draw.
Lads, I'm going 1-1 draw as well. It's written in the stars. It happens
Right,
all too
that's
very
it. That's
often.
it.
1-1.
Let's put the bets on now.
We just agree too much. We agree too much. And then Everton away. Obviously, Everton, playing some fantastic football under Sean Dyche, despite the 10-point deduction. I don't think any of us doubt that they're probably going to stay up this season. And Goodison's a notoriously difficult place to go. Very quickly, Charlie, what do you reckon against Everton? I appreciate we don't have all the players that are going to be available.
2-1 Everton.
Oh God, I'm not going to go to Liverpool just to watch that, am I? Timber.
I was literally about to say 2-1 Everton, but I'm going to go with the 2-0 Everton. That ground, it just brings back so many bad memories.
So why the hell are you trying to convince me to go to Goodison Park to watch this game?
Because it's Chelsea. You just have
away
to.
day, mate. Just go. It's football, mate. Just enjoy the day, mate. Don't worry about the. We've had worse times than this.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I think you're both wrong. I think it's going to be 3-2 Chelsea because we can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives, and we score goals for fun at the moment. So 3-2 Chelsea for me for Everton. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I appreciate you both for joining me. As ever, if you found us this evening, we are the We Talk Chelsea podcast. We do this every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Occasionally, we might do it post a game. But feel free to, if you just come across us, please hit the subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. We've been live on YouTube and on TKS TV. Until then, we'll see you all next week at 9:30. We'll review Chelsea winning the game 1-1 against Manchester United as a point gained, because let's face it, any point is fantastic as a Chelsea fan. And, we'll talk about how Charlie and Timber are wrong at Goodison Park, and we'll discuss our away day, hopefully. Until then, we'll see you next week at 9:30 up the Chelsea.